Hello. I would like to welcome you to Storytime. Today's book is about a pretty scary story. Maybe you've heard of the Three Little Pigs. Well, this is the true story of the Three Little Pigs. It takes you behind the scenes and tells you what really happened. Maybe. But before I get started, I should say hello to a few of my friends. I would like to give a big Storytime hello to all of the kids at Kairos Day Treatment. Hello. And a special hello to Scarlett, Rose, and Grandma Lori. And a big hello to Emmett. And to Andrew and Avery. And a special hello to Mrs. Barr's kindergarten class at Blossom Gulch. Hello. Welcome to Storytime. I don't know if you'll be reading this or watching this or seeing this during the daytime or the nighttime, but it's definitely story time. Well, today's story is not too scary, but if you've got someone that you'd like to bring in here, I'll wait. It can be anyone. If you have like a four-legged friend you want to bring in, or a two-legged friend, or like a stuffed fluffy type of a friend, or a blanket, or if it's just you, that's fine too. All right. The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolfe. As told to John Sciezka, illustrated by Lane Smith. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story, because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I am the wolf, Alexander T. Wolfe. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way that we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. Cheeseburgers really are cute though, in real life. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing, it's all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back, once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny, and I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. So, I I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. And I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. And that is when my nose, it started to itch. And I felt a sneeze coming on. And I huffed and I snuffed. And I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what happened? That whole darn house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig. Dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger, just lying there. I was feeling a little bit better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor I know what that is. Do you know what that is? That means it's snack time. I love snack time. I'm gonna get a snack. You should get one too. I'll be right back. Today's snack is a very good snack. It's not a cheeseburger or a pig. It's a banana nut muffin. Have you ever had a banana nut muffin before? There's lots of different kinds of muffins. Banana nut muffins are pretty good for you, I think. Anyway, whenever you're gonna have a muffin, you have to decide which kind of muffin person are you. Are you the kind that is very serious and very meticulously takes off every part of the wrapper and then perhaps cuts it into quadrants and then has equal bites of bottom and top at the same time? Or are you the kind that just rips the top off? banana nut muffin. What are you guys having? Better save some for later. Well, nowadays, it can be hard to find a lot of different things to do. If you're like me, you've probably gone through most of your toys by now, and a good portion of your books, and you're probably annoying your little sister, and you've probably played all your video games and seen all of the Netflix. So sometimes it's good to give things that you've already done a second try. Today I'm looking at doing a puzzle. This is one of my very favorite puzzles. It's from my very favorite painting called Sunday on the Island of La Grande Jatte. Can you say that? Sunday on the Island of La Grande Jatte. Here's the painting. In real life, when you're next to this painting, if you stand back from it, all of the little dots of color make it look like it's alive. Anyway, it's a really cool painting. With puzzles, they can be kind of hard. And I'll be honest, they can be kind of boring because they all look alike, the pieces, and you already know what's going to happen at the end. So here's what I like to do. If you want to make it really challenging, put all the pieces in a bag and get rid of the box. So you have no idea. Just get rid of it. Then it will be super hard. Super hard. Or, if you do finish your puzzle, what you might do is turn it over and draw another picture on that side, and then take it apart and you have two puzzles. Right? I know. Back to the story? Okay, back to the story. So I was feeling a little bit better, but I didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. Now this neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had a house of sticks. So I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And he yelled back, go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob, but I felt another sneeze coming on, and I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. And when the dust cleared, there was a second little pig. Dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know how food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing that there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I mean, I was getting very full, but my cold was feeling a little bit better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. Now this guy was the first and the second little pig's brother. And he must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house, no answer. I called Mr. Pig. Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little pig answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. Huh? He probably had a whole sack full of sugar in there, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear, sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. Anyway, I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on it. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. And then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow. But when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little bit crazy. And when the cops drove up, I was trying to break down the pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing, and I was making a real scene. The rest, as they say, it's history. And the news reporters found out about the 2 pigs that I'd had for dinner, and they figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down stuff, and they made me the big bad wolf. And that's it. That's the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. Oh. That was a really good book. The True Story of the 3 Little Pigs. Huh. Well, I want to thank you for coming to Storytime. If you've got a story that you think we should read, or someone that you think we should say hello to, why don't you leave us a message down there? Let's have another story time tomorrow. I'll see you then.